Married at First Sight, Season 16, Reunion Part 1. So this was their attempt to reunite us with these people they've continued to cover nonstop for 7 years. Hi, I'm Tamara, and this is Tamara Lynette Tales. Let's get into this silly reunion episode. We really didn't learn much because they've shown us 5,216 episodes about these people before, during, and after they got married. Okay, so they started with this roundtable conversation. Airris, aka Orgy, was kind of on a hot seat about his braless cousin calling Jasmine fake. They showed a moment we didn't get to see where Orgy and Jasmine were talking about his braless cousin. Jasmine was saying she didn't want to be around braless because braless doesn't like her. Orgy was like, well, I like to be around people who are strong, insinuating that Jazz is weak for not snatching braless's weave out her head for being called fake. I thought that Jazz saying that she didn't want to be around Braless was a strong moment. That was her putting her foot down. Everyone agreed that Orgy didn't have Jazz's back in that moment, except for Mac, who jumped in to say Orgy looked conflicted. He was in a bad spot between his family and his wife. Jazz was not having it and checked Mac. The point is, he should have had my back in that moment, and he didn't, so don't try to defend him. Then she and her new teeth turned her back to Mac like, take your butt back to Michigan, fool. Yes, child, Jasmine got a glow up in her mouth. Her teeth are looking good. Anyway, they rehashed the slender statement that Chuck Norris, aka Clint, made, but they let Gina off the hook for that ginger comment she made. If Gina gets a pass for what she said, then Chuck should get a pass for what he said, as far as I'm concerned. Either way, Chuck said he apologized to her for about 45 minutes after finding out she was offended. I think she should have been the one to apologize more because not only did she offend Chuck, but it's possible that she could have offended a ton of redheads who watch the show. In any case, I'm tired of hearing about it. Chuck said he moved out of the apartment building that he and Gina happened to live in, but he moved into Chris and Peppercow's, aka Nicole's apartment building. They didn't say if this was a coincidence or planned, but they seem to be really close with each other and they hang out quite a bit. Dom said that she and Gil are friends. I wonder if Gil knows that. Jasmine said people have been in her DM saying that she and Gil are a perfect match. I can't think of any previous cast members I would match her with. I believe she's better off finding someone on her own. Okay, as for Jasmine and Orgy, Kevin was trying to get Orgy to say what his issue with Jasmine really was, but out of respect for Jasmine, he didn't want to say, but he did say that she knows. I've said this before, I'm not trying to cap on Jazz, but I think her teeth were on his list of reasons. I don't believe it's a coincidence that she got her teeth fixed immediately after doing the show. So as for Orgy sleeping with Jazz's friend 10 days before they got married, he claims he cut things off once he got into the process. No you didn't. The process lasts for months. They informed them at least like 2 weeks ahead of time that they're going to be on the show. Kevin didn't even press them on that lame answer. When they brought out Jazz's friend, one of the points she made about Jazz's personality is that she mentors young girls and had that in mind when she was on the show. Like she needed to be able to face them, right? So while she was saying that to defend Jazz in her conservative demeanor, since Jazz was carefully picking her words so she doesn't say anything inappropriate for her mentees to hear, Braless was calling it pageant queen answers, but maybe they were mentor answers. Maybe Jazz was putting less spice in her answers because she was aware of being on TV. Because I did notice that Jazz had a lot more sass at the reunion than she did all season. Maybe Braless wasn't completely wrong. I'm just saying. So one good change Orgy said he made is that he started volunteering at a local rescue mission working with homeless and gave Jazz credit for inspiring this decision. Okay, some of her good rubbed off on him. Ultimately, Jazz says that she wants to be an esthetician and open her own spa. That's odd that she didn't mention anything about starting a party bus business with Kirsten like they talked about in one of the previous episodes. Could that have been a fake storyline? No way! So Jazz says she's in a relationship with that dude they called Friend Boy. And of course, Orgy's not in a relationship. He also said that he didn't go out again with that woman he had a fake date with, Kendra. Pepper Cal and Chris. Not much has changed with them. Pepper Cal talked about the retreat when they were putting on those dinosaur costumes. The group was waiting for them to help with breakfast, so everyone was giving them side-eye when they came downstairs. Both she and Chris said it was so awkward, and she regretted making Chris do it. I mean, the dinosaur costumes were harmless, but not well executed or thought out. Anyway, Pepper Cal said, in the beginning of their marriage, A lot of people told her that Chris has a problem speaking up. So she approached their relationship with the idea that she needs to press him to speak up. But in the end, it wasn't necessary. Yeah, we saw him put his foot down when it was something he cared about. They still haven't had any arguments. And even though she's not excited about having kids, she's open to it. But they want to have more experiences first. These two seem to be going strong and understand each other. I hope they stay together, so this season won't be a complete waste. Okay, so Gina and Chuck Norris, aka Clint. Guess what? They are still not together and they still get along. Kevin asked them if there was any chance of them ever trying again, and they were both reluctant to just straight out say no. After wavering back and forth and them saying that there is a little glimmer of hope that it's possible for them to try, Kevin asked if they were dating or seeing anyone. Gina said no, and Chuck said he has a girlfriend. Wait, what? If I was Chuck's girlfriend, I would not be happy with that little exchange he just had with Gina, his wife. I mean, I think Chuck should have led with that. Like, I'm currently in a relationship, so my heart is not in a position to even speculate about Gina and I being more than just friends. Like, boom, shut it down, disengage, abort. Like, no matter how secure a person is, that's gotta sting that your significant other was chatting about hooking up with his legal fake wife on national TV. Ouch. So anyway, Gina talked about the stress she was going through during filming. She lost $100,000 because of a contractor who steered her the wrong way. Plus, she lost that employee who quit that she talked about on the show. Blah, 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 blah. So Shaq and Kirsten. Shaq moved to Austin and checked himself back into therapy. Whew, I was happy to hear that he's in therapy. He comes across to me as not knowing what he wants. He and Kirsten don't talk much. I thought it was interesting that he said that they have never spoken, but Kirsten had to correct him and say that she contacted him when his grandmother died. He had totally dismissed that conversation. I get the impression that he dismissed a lot of the things Kirsten did because he keeps harping on her for not being nurturing or supportive, but she was like, I cooked, did your laundry, folded it, made sure you did your homework, made sure you had everything you needed to go to work, yet he still complains that she wasn't supportive. Okay, I have a wild or not so wild theory about Shaq. Like, maybe his extraordinary need for support comes from his upbringing. Like, either he was babied throughout his life, like even as an adult, like maybe even his mom still spits on a napkin to wipe food off his chin, and like he's expecting that level of nurturing from his wife, or the opposite is true. He didn't get much nurturing and expects whoever his partner is to give him what he missed out on in his childhood. Okay, so that's my non-educated guess based on not knowing this man and only seeing snippets of his personality that the producers have chosen to show us. Anyway, Kevin kept trying to get to the bottom of why Shaq said no on decision day. Kevin seems to think that everybody thought that they were going to stay married. No, sir. Most of us thought that they would both say no. So Shaq had 101 excuses why he said no. First, he complained that they needed more time. Filming was tough and life got in the way. But after he said no, he told Kirsten that he wished they had stayed together. Kevin was like, you felt like you needed more time together? Because you could have had more time together. And Kirsten was like, okay. And I was like, Shaq, do you understand the words that are coming out your mouth? Then Shaq changed it up and said he felt a lot of pressure. He didn't want to say it, but I think the producers really pressure these folks to stay together. So then he went on to say that he said no because he didn't know what a marriage is supposed to look like. Police. We all saw The Sopranos and Roseanne. We know what a marriage is supposed to look like. So then Shaq said that he said no because a prophet called him. Kevin looked at him like, what in the crazy did you just say? And I'm thinking, was it a prophet or your mama? Because your mama didn't seem to like Kirsten. So the prophet was a pastor. Now, I don't know why he just didn't say that rather than make it sound like a random psychic that he didn't know called him up out of the blue to predict his future. Anyway, the pastor told him that he has a big decision to make and do what's best for him. You needed a so-called prophet to tell you that, though? So Kevin was like, so you said no because this prophet told you to? He's like, no, the prophet just told me to do what's best for me. Okay, we're like on fake reason number 35 why you said no. Just say it already. So then he finally said that he said no because he thought he wasn't good enough for Kirsten. Like, where did that come from? And do you really mean that though? Or are you really thinking that Kirsten was not good enough for you? Because based on all of his whining about her not being nurturing enough, not supportive enough, not attentive enough, it makes more sense that he didn't believe she was good enough for him. I don't believe this is the real reason he said no, and I don't know if he wants to tell us the reason why he said no. He just needs to do what Orgy did and exercise his right to remain silent, because the more he spoke, the weirder it got. In any case, they ended this on a cliffhanger with Kevin asking Shaq if he regrets his decision. Yeah, whatever. So this reunion wasn't as interesting as reunions in the past because they dragged out the season to the point of no one caring what these people are up to anymore. Like, can we move on to season 17, please? How do we get off this ride? Can I speak to a manager, please? And to make matters worse, they are not done with dragging it out. After the reunion part 2, they still have Where Are They Now and an episode called The T from A to Z. And then the final episode is called A Look Back at Nashville. So it looks like the last episode will air on July 19th. Oh my God, sweet baby. Jesus, help us. And remember, this season started in January 2010. Just kidding. It started in January 2023. But it's taking them almost 7 months to tell us the story that 4 of the 5 marriages didn't work out. Okay, we get it. Well, that's all I got for now. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video.